And welcome once again to another Firearm Freedom YouTube live stream. This one should get interesting. It's good to be back. As always, let me know if the audio is coming through. Let me know if visually everything's looking good, nothing's off. Because if it is, we're live, it's raw, and I can change it. I can work on it. Mike, good to see you. Hello and welcome. It's been a minute. Just got back from a little bit of a vacation in the communist state of New Jersey. If you take the New Jersey out of the beach area, you know, in the area of like Cape May and other things, it's actually kind of nice, you know, but then that like harsh reminder comes in where you're like, oof, I'm in New Jersey right now. And then you can't pump your own gas legally, and then I just lose it, you know, can't do it. That's true. Visual is off because I'm wearing the hat backwards. Fun fact, I had on a normal hat in the beginning, but what I was realizing having a normal hat on during the live streams is the lighting. It was like casting weird shadows and stuff like that. I've been doing a bunch of posting this week, just trying to, you know, get those algorithms a little bit different with YouTube, try to make a little bit of a jump forward rather than YouTube censoring it out. So I also did a post earlier in the week asking you guys if you had any questions ahead of time, kind of more rapid fire. And I think instead of doing more gear related items, if I don't have any gear related items to showcase, I am going to allow you to ask questions ahead of time. I'll answer them quickly in the beginning as we're letting a bunch of people get on, and then we're going to get into the main topic of the live stream. So first question was from Chris, and he asked my top 5 favorite firearms. Chris, thank you for the question. That is a very difficult one to answer. I'm going to go with top 5 favorite that I have, right, in my collection that I personally own. Because if I go top 5 favorite, like just as a whole, there's just no way I can try to even narrow it down. But I would have to say my USP would be one of the favorite, and this is in no order of like which one is more favorite than the other, but the USP would definitely be in the top 5. My Remington 1187 SBS, that would be like close to number 1. I absolutely love that gun. I love everything about it. It's such a great shotgun. I would have to go with my M1 carbine, without a doubt. My new Colt 6943 SBR. That is another great rifle. And man, I don't know what's going to fit in that last category there. You know what? My Century C93, HK93 clone or sporter. I love that rifle. Love everything about it. And it's a great gun. Wild card, my Uzi carbine as well. My Uzi Model B. That would be the wild card of the group. But yeah, it is what it is. I know a lot of people are going to be pissed that those were my options out of the other ones. But we also have another question that we're going to answer rapid fire here while we're letting people come in. Mike, I just called out the Uzi. I forgot I had it for a second, okay? Just give me... I put the Uzi in there. I had to remember that was a possibility on the list. Sometimes shit just gets lost in the safe and you don't even know. Okay, we had one more question that I am going to bring up here. Bear with me. I have my phone here that I'm trying to just look at the notes for. And this one is from Connor. Thank you for the well thought out questions. The first one was thoughts on the missing 411 conspiracy, maybe a topic for your the podcast, but still a neat one to answer. So when it comes to the missing 411, we were planning on doing an episode on that on the podcast, so possibly stay tuned for that in the future. I think more realistic is something to do with pedos and satanic sex cults here in the United States and probably all over the world. Worst case scenario, lizards. So we got kind of the spectrum there, going one way or the other. Also, more on topic, 3 times versus 5 times magnifiers. To be honest with you, I'm not the person to ask when it comes to magnifiers. Typically, with me, I prefer a low power variable optic if I'm going to have magnification. However, when I'm going magnifiers, I don't know that I necessarily even have a preference 3 times versus 5 times. And generally, being completely honest, I'm not shooting that far of a distance most of the time. We're in Pennsylvania. There's not a lot of distance ranges around me, unfortunately. And then the next question was frame pack. I do not know anything about frame packs. I have a lot of work to do in that area, so I'm not going to even try to answer that one. And the other multicam question, again, just not the person to ask for that. Very basic knowledge in both those areas. But either way, you guys, thank you for posting those comments there. I really appreciate it. It does a good job of filling the space. If you want to get in on that, follow my community page on YouTube. So just follow my YouTube and it'll come up if you're looking at it on your phone. And I'll try a couple days before the next live stream to post the Q&A section that you guys can ask those questions and have it be in more of a rapid fire, type of way in the beginning of these live streams. And then we'll go from there. Before we get into the main topic, which is going to be, man, so much has went down since the last live stream. We've had ATF stop by houses. We've had YouTubers getting really annoying, and just a whole plethora of other things, including the 1808 assault weapons ban passing the House this evening, which I did watch live for quite a while, and it's a lot of stuff going on. Before we get started into the first part of the live stream, which is multi-sales and how that correlates to the video, of course, after these live streams, check out that description. There is a bunch of links where you can support the channel. If you want to support me, the best way to do so right now, at the moment, there are no sponsors to the channel. So you can check out the Firearm Freedom merchandise. I have 8 new shirt designs that I'm very much proud of, and I am wearing one tonight. We got the awesome G3 here in the center, and it is, of course, the Thomas Jefferson quote, which is "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." I do feel that this is an appropriate shirt for the chain of events of everything going on, right? But if you would like to pick up like awesome shirt, right, or any of the other shirts, this country's run by pedophiles, all the other edgy shirts that I have, they are available on the links down in the description. Any of my other videos recently, they're under there. The links aren't down there right now because the live's not over yet. They are a fitted material. They fit real nice, whatever. If you want to support the channel, I appreciate it. Rep the brand and just let people know your thoughts on the world, Multiple sale forms. So the biggest thing that I saw when I was on vacation and looking on YouTube, just trying to stay updated, was just massive videos all over the place about a situation in Delaware where 2 ATF agents and 1 state trooper visited a home in regards to multiple sale purchases or multiple firearms purchased from a gun shop. It sounded like from the video within a year, within the past year. So I want to start off first by answering something that I think most YouTubers, including attorneys that I've seen videos on, not answer this properly. And it's rather frustrating coming from somebody that works at a gun shop full time. It seems like most of the internet has not. I just realized my microphone is not even angled up towards me. Gotta love it. Still should be good. But regardless, a lot of people were not getting this right. It was rather frustrating. So what is a multiple sale form? Well, many people in the YouTube sphere, even attorneys, were saying this is a form, and I have the form here, okay? We're saying this is a form that gets populated when you buy multiple firearms. First of all, that's not correct in some areas, okay? And I want to go more in depth on that because, we run into these quite a bit at gun shops. What is a multiple sale form? Well, in most of the 50 states, it refers to handguns, not long guns. There's been a lot of videos where YouTubers are saying, hey, this is a form that gets filled out when you buy multiple firearms. That's not correct. It comes down to handguns for almost every state. Now, there are, like, I think 4 or 5 states in the country that also do this, not only for handguns, but for long guns as well. But that is state dependent. That's not federally dependent. Federally dependent is handguns. So that's the big thing, right? A lot of other people were kind of acting like this is brand new, like this just started happening, right? Like, oh my God, what is going on with the multiple sales? Thank you, Gun Control Act of 1968. Over 50 years, this form has been filled out, okay? This is nothing new. What is new is that a Ring doorbell camera captured this unconstitutional pile of shit that's been festering in our country for over 50 years. And lo and behold, YouTubers view this as a time to make a profit, right, on the situation that's going on, and so we're going to post all about it. Where were all the attorneys over the past 50 years with this form? Where's all the gun tubers over the past 50 years for this form? I don't know. Why is it that just now, in July of 2022, I've talked about this form before on my live streams. I'm not trying to say I'm any different than anybody else. I'm just saying, why is that finally now, when the unconstitutional bullshit gets caught on camera, now everyone's all over it, right? Now we're posting everywhere. My favorite part was the political stance of one of the, whoever it was in politics, a senator or congressman or somebody that's like, we're writing a formal letter to the ATF as asking them as to why they are doing this. This has been going on for 50 years. So got to get votes, right? Don't have the shades get pushed over your face of the bullshit. I've watched this absolute parade of clowns for the past few weeks now, just getting worse and worse and worse. At this point, I wouldn't even pay attention to anything anybody on the TV is saying. Do your own research, okay? Where did I get this form? Do you have to be at a gun shop to get it? No, you can Google it and you can find a PDF copy, and that's exactly what I did of this form. So it's off handguns. What exactly happens when you buy handguns in a gun shop, multiple handguns? What does that mean? So if you go into a gun shop and you purchase one handgun, and within 7 days you purchase an additional handgun, this form, by law, since 1968, is generated and needs to be faxed to the state police of that state that you're in and the local ATF branch. ATF is now doing unconstitutional registry. Clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. We need to stop this. Donate, donate, donate. This is going on. This has been happening since 1968. Where's everyone been at? That's what's so frustrating about this situation. The gun shops have been fuming about this for decades, that this has been going on secretly behind closed doors. You want to talk about electronic registries starting and all this other stuff, which they are doing. This is a gripe, quite frankly, towards the ATF and also the gun tubing community, and why it's so frustrating to watch this, because it's misinformation that half the time these people don't even realize that they're putting out. Okay, when it comes to the multiple sale form, they have been faxing copies. Gun shops by law mandatorily have to fax copies directly to the ATF, which includes manufacturer of the firearm, which includes the importer, model, serial number, type, caliber, the date transferred. It includes all of your information. It includes all the transfer information, and every part of it gets given to the ATF and the state police. Not only does it get given to the ATF and the state police, but this is supposed to be a notification, but it ends up being a little bit of a like, hey, alert, this is going on. So now let's talk about what the ATF has been doing for a very long time, and the unfortunate person that had this happen to them is not the first one. This is just one of the very few that actually gets caught on camera of what the ATF does. So when you buy, if you get a bunch of these, right? If you have, unfortunately, say you want to buy 5 or 6 handguns because you want to buy 5 or 6 handguns, and it's your goddamn right to buy 5 or 6 handguns. So you buy 5 or 6 handguns. If you get multiple, that throws up a higher threat, a higher red flag to the local ATF branch, and they may be told to go investigate the situation, right? Mind you, you've done nothing wrong at all. Not a single part of it wrong. But now they're going to pull the complete form. Now they may stop by your house. And they may say, hey, we want to see those guns. They don't have a warrant. They have no constitutional right to be there in any way, shape, or form. They're essentially breaking the law by being there. But they love to play this wonderful game where if you don't play ball, we're going to make your life a living hell. Right? So that's the other thing that a lot of these videos are not addressing when it comes to the gun tubing community. And why do I think this is misinformation or a little bit of a disservice is because a lot of these YouTubers, this is what's really pissed me off the most, is YouTubers who have their FFL and SOT are telling you to slam the door in the face of the ATF agent. That sounds awesome for your viewers. That sounds awesome for your view count, right? And it makes you sound super edgy. Yet behind the scenes here, you regularly perform audits with the ATF and communicate with the ATF, let them in, check your books, check the serial numbers. You don't slam the door in their face. Why don't you do that? Because they make your life a living hell. They pull your FFL, they pull your SOT, and they would do all of these other things, right? So I'm not telling you guys to comply and let them into your house because I don't think that's a great idea either, but there's kind of like a give and take that the world that we live in today, this is why this situation is so totally fucked up from start to finish and has been since 1968, right? You need to figure out a way to defuse the situation without letting them in the house and try to not let them get as much of your property as humanly possible. Because remember, if they want to go back and get a warrant and come back and search everything in your house, God only knows what the crooked ATF is going to find or going to say about a pistol brace or something else in your house. So that's like kind of the wonderful game you play. And don't listen to the YouTubers who have their FFL and SOT telling you to slam the door in their face when they're not ready to back that up themselves. Okay? So when it comes to the multiple sale form, multiple times ATF agents visit houses and do all this unconstitutional stuff, and they want you to not know this form exists. Even though it's public information, right? They don't tell you that this is being sent out anywhere. They don't tell you that this is happening. And this has been going on, I would imagine, since the majority of everybody that's watching this video has been buying firearms. Okay? Now, in certain states, mind you, it's not even all the more primarily Democratic states. Arizona is one where they also do this with long guns, which quite frequently happens with long guns more than handguns, and same deal applies. What are you primarily likely to get a visit at your house from the ATF for? Typically speaking, if you were to buy more cost-effective, cheap handguns within a 7-day period, especially from multiple gun shops, okay, you will almost definitely get a visit for that. So if you're buying a Taurus, if you're buying a High Point, if you're buying another Saturday night special type of firearm, you are almost definitely going to get a knock on the door, and that's how the ATF operates. one might assume that that's really trying to target a low income part of the country. That you could definitely say that, but that's how they operate. Now, the ATF justifies what they do with multiple sales forms because they say, hey, we're trying to stop straw purchasing. If somebody goes to 5 different gun shops and buys 20 different handguns, they may have a higher probability or a higher possibility in our records of taking those handguns, going out of state or selling them illegally to an inner city somewhere in Pennsylvania. You know, what the ATF likes to say a ton is in Baltimore. And quite frankly, sometimes that does happen. Sometimes there is absolutely straw purchases. The problem, though, is that you could see how easily this little form can get out of hand. And now somebody that's a law-abiding citizen that's done nothing wrong is just getting a little check-in, right, by the ATF, which is the video that you're seeing. No part of this is saying that that video is not utter and complete unconstitutional bullshit. Again, as I said earlier, my gripe is with the gun tubing community that once again, half the time is not having any part of the information correct or complete in total with the situation, and is trying to jump off of clickbait for views, right? And that does no good deeds for this community as a whole, okay? Now, I know what other people will probably say, which is, why would the gun shop do that? Why would the gun shop generate the form? Why would the gun shop send the form? If the gun shop that you frequent, and mind you, all of them send this form, if the gun shop does not send this form, they pull the license, right? So they pull the license, and now they're not selling any guns, and you'll never buy a gun from that gun shop again. Sorry guys, I'm running, of course, out of battery. That is typically, okay, what happens. So that it's not like you decide. Now that you know that, you can now have that in your mind to not buy a handgun within a 7-day period to try to not get this form generated on yourself. And there's many gun shops, there's many awesome gun shops that will let people know that, so that they don't buy multiple handguns in a 7-day period, or will let them know, hey, just a heads up, this is going to generate this form, and it may send up a red flag to the ATF. So that is just something to be aware of. Don't mind this here. I have to check my notes about the multi-sales before we move on to the next topic. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything, as this is a little bit of a doozy when it comes to this live stream. No, it looks pretty good. So I also want to mention as well, right, that when it comes to the guy in Delaware, that is a perfect example of why you should have these interactions on camera, why you should have these things stated, so that way they don't try to pull some BS on you and say you said this or that or the other thing, because that is typically, right, what happens with the ATF. Let me read up the comments here before I dig into everything else. So you got to take 20 years off, exactly. If you pass the check, don't get what it matters. I understand straw purchases, but most of the time you can tell what's going on, and if the person's been in more than once. Yeah, exactly. So mind you, again, this the funny thing about this form and why it's such bullshit. I mean, remember all the live streams, right, where I freak out and I about have an aneurysm on the live stream because I'm talking about how no one understands that the voting and the rules that we're told to play in, right? Like no one gets that we're going against somebody that doesn't play with those rules. This is a prime example of those rules, right? Well, we need to fight the electronic registry. They've had a registry since 1968, at least, of multiple handguns in a 7-day period, and in a lot of states, rifles as well. And a lot of people buy multiple rifles in a 7-day period. So the guy in Delaware probably had a few of these. Maybe bought a full size of subcompact, and he had a few of them within a year. Maybe it was his first time buying guns in a year. that shows up a red flag to them. So then somebody at the ATF field office says, hey, you should go investigate this. This is what's going on behind closed doors. I just find it hilarious that it takes until something is super like out there and getting played a bunch and has millions of views that all of a sudden now all the activists are going to jump on it, you know, because they can get views off of the video. So that about finishes up the multi-sales forum before I start getting very angry at the YouTube community. So the other thing here that I just wanted to touch on, I had a few comments. Again, this just goes off of what I view the gun tubing community is doing a disservice to the community for. A lot of people are asking, hey, are you going to do a video on the Dickinson drill, right? From the hero that saved lives in the shooting that was stopped at the mall, right? We have a lot of these videos dropping, a lot of these, you know, memes dropping and all, you know, we're going to do the Dickinson drill. Okay. For me personally, that seems incredibly, it's doing a disservice to the hero that saved lives that day. I will not be doing the Dickinson drill, although I do think that drill, having that in mind, practicing that at the range, that's awesome. Understanding the potential for that to happen, just figuring out what your shots are at 50 yards, 40 yards with a handgun is awesome. But to make a 20-minute long video where you're hypothesizing what possibly went down and trying to like overly make it even more dramatic and all of these other things, and not even having this kid on to talk about it, so that insinuates that maybe, right, that maybe he didn't want it all spread around. We don't know yet because he's not coming on and interviewing this stuff. Seems to me a lot like all of these different gun tubers are trying to use buzzwords from a constant or from a current news situation to gain views for themselves, right? So a lot of the gun tubers out there, if put in that situation, more than likely would never in a million years be able to take that shot, be able to do the things that were done in that situation. Yet they'll make a video about it to get views and try to make their channel grow and get bigger, right? So the problem that I have with it is not that people are trying to practice a pistol drill at, let's say, 40 yards. That's not my issue with it. The issue that I have with it and why I will not be doing that on my channel is because it turns into trying to profit off of this absolute hero's deeds of what he did to save lives that day. That kid is awesome, and he's an incredibly courageous person to be able to run into a situation like that and not think twice about it. And he did something that not many people can do. So that's about all I'll say on it, but no, I will not be doing a video about the Dickinson drill, and this does not go out negatively to the person that asked me that. It's just simply a frustration with the gun community at the moment. Right, exactly. And everybody's joking about it, and I get it. The murderer that got stopped is an absolute piece of shit, but when it comes down to it, this kid still had to take a life, and I'm sure that is probably a bit stressful on his mind at the moment, and now there's like millions of meme videos and shit flying all over the place so people can get views. Good job, gun community, on that one. Finally, icing on the cake for this live stream, we're going to talk about the assault weapons ban and the assault weapons ban getting passed through the House tonight, and the other failure of the gun community when it comes to misinformation, and when it comes to the Bruin case, and when it comes to talking about these cases like all is great in the world and we're never going to experience a problem again. So the other thing that I saw with the Bruin case, the Supreme Court case, that if our system works in the way we're told it works, that will save us a long time in the future. I totally agree. The problem is, as we've seen with that document there, the multiple sales form, and as we've seen with every other part of how this country operates, and every other part about how we get royally screwed every day that goes by with the rights that we've lost decades ago, shows us that this country does not work in the way that we're told it works, right? So when you put things out like brewing case, thumbnail, huge win, never going to experience problems again, all is good, take a sigh of relief, please God, click on my video. As a person on a gun counter, behind a gun counter, right? Behind a gun counter dealing with customers all day. Let me tell you what I see after you post videos like that. I see people coming into the gun shop and they say things like, oh, dude, I don't know if you saw this, but with the brewing case, they're never going to pass anything again. They're never going to pass anything. I'm not worried about it. 100% serious. I don't know if you saw, man, but the brewing case, you don't have to worry about pistol braces anymore. The brewing case passes, so it's good. No problem. Never going to worry about it again. I don't know if you saw the brewing case, but NFA is being repealed. Totally repealed. We're never going to deal with the NFA again. I don't know if you saw this, but the brewing case happened, and I saw a few videos on YouTube. I saw a few lawyers talk about it on YouTube, and I can do whatever I want when it comes to guns because of the brewing case. So they'll win every case ever because of the brewing case. That's what I've been seeing. And the reason why you see that at grassroots level is because the average person watches your video and they come to you for information. They come to you to see why. They've chosen your channel because they say, hey, I think this is an informative channel and I trust your information. And you're telling them things like, the brewing case is happening, and you're showcasing all these buzzwords that half the time are coming from the sponsored gun rights organization that are backing you, right? That are kind of like filtering it in. And a lot of the time, it's also just piggybacking off of all these other channels because you guys are trying to like funnel your views in from all over the place, right? So when it comes to it, it's misinformation because these people don't understand that really, okay, like my face, I wanted to post a meme on Instagram where I'm like, shocked that after the brewing case, now we're facing an assault weapons ban that just passed the House. Will it pass the Senate? I don't know. Do I even think that situation is real? Probably not, because it's all just a bunch of bullshit anyways. But my point is that people looked at those videos, they saw the brewing case, they saw a big win and all these other things, and they just immediately thought, hey, nothing to worry about. I'm glad I donated. I'm glad I voted. The system works as it should. Awesome. And that's a big issue because it really doesn't. We're still facing the same situation. A lot of the states looked at that. They just pissed all over it and they said, we're going to do what we want to do anyways. And no one's doing a goddamn thing about it. The ATF looked at that and they still have the multiple sales form. They still have all these other things that are incredibly unconstitutional that absolutely go against what the brewing case says. What's going to be done about it? I know, we're doing a bunch of lawsuits, and maybe 6 or 7 years, maybe 8 years down the road, those lawsuits will get finalized, and then still nothing's going to fucking happen from it. So, how do I know that? Because here we are in 2022, and we're still arguing over what piece of plastic should go on the end of our guns that we should be allowed to have by the grace of our Creator from the very beginning, and that's just the way it works. So, here we are again arguing over this. We have lost literally almost everything, and we're at the brink of losing the rest of it as we speak. And is there anything left? I really don't know. But I can tell you that if the Supreme Court cases were to work as they should, we should be seeing a lot more given back than we do a long time ago. And I'm sure a lot of gun tubers are going to watch this and get all salty and pissed off at me. But at the end of the day, it's accurate. And I think personally, people come to my channel to hear the truth. So if people don't want to interact with me that are in the gun community because of a video like this or because of something else calling out the flaws that I see in the community, so be it. That's fine. But I think to my viewers, right? To my viewers, I love each and every one of you guys that come to this channel against all the censorship, against all the bullshit to hear the truth. To my viewers, I think they need the truth. And the truth is that the community is too focused on fucking views and algorithms and news and clickbait title to just We're right on the brink of death, and the gun community shoves its foot in the face and says, I want you to die a little bit harder and a little bit faster so I can just get 10 more goddamn views of clickbait. So that's the reality of the community. That's the reality of the situation that's going on, and I think that's a disservice. There are many other YouTubers out there. I am not the only one, okay, that are not the only one. I am not, that have great content, that do great things and never do that. They never do that. And I watch a lot of them religiously. There are a lot of great people out there in the gun community, but there's a lot of bullshit. And the past few weeks, I have been seeing so much bullshit for views, it has been making me sick to go on YouTube and see all of this stuff, okay, that is going on, all in the name of marketing at the end of the day, because I click on these videos and I myself am a viewer of YouTube and I want information, and I'm watching this, I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? None of this information is accurate. None of it is giving me anything. All of it was for me to click on your video. Congratulations, you got me to click on your video. Wow. Thank you for helping this community. You want to help this community, it's about organizing what is left. What's becoming a very fringe group of people, right, that actually does not like the government, that actually wants less government, that actually can't stand the ATF, and that actually doesn't like the game that's being played in front. This is the first time I've ever watched a live stream of the House committee and all this other. I've never seen such a shit show in my entire life. I'm watching these people, Republican and Democrat, come up to the stand, right? Because they're like, okay, I got to really, if I'm on the Democratic side, I got to get the tears rolling. I got to showcase this because it's going to be probably shared on social media, a small 15-minute clip. And then on the Republican side, they're like, we are not for this, because this is going to be shared, this little 3-second video, and all these agents, as far as these organizations, these gun rights organizations, are probably going to share my quote of what I said. Fuck yeah, I'm going to make it look good. And then I watch them on the live stream just sit down. They're all sitting all over the place, right? Because they're just having a grand old time, and they're laughing and talking it up and talking it in the back, and they're on their phone, and they are literally, as the system is designed, I got 10% left. Let's hope I can finish this live stream. As the system is designed, they are stripping you of your rights. They are tyrants in the fucking room, removing your God-given rights and laughing about it, and sitting down like it's another day at the office. Are people out of their mind? And then somebody will get on this platform and tell you, hell yeah, we won, donate harder. I'm done. After stepping off of these live streams for a few weeks to just take a break, you guys know I'm doing these live streams now when I want to, when I feel the need to do the live stream, because that's when I think they're going to be the most genuine. To recap, multiple sales are an unconstitutional thing that has been going on since 1968, and no one has done a goddamn thing about it, okay? And now, since we have a video, we're going to talk about it for a week to try to get a few extra views and try to save this dying community here on YouTube, because no one can get ahead, and I get it, because YouTube sucks, but let's go ahead and destroy the community in the process to try to get ahead. Multi-sales, unconstitutional bullshit, right? Now we have the community as a whole trying to profit off of this kid's heroic act, right? To make a bunch of flashy videos and do a bunch of memes off this kid who saved a bunch of lives and is a fucking hero. So that's sick. And then now we have the assault weapons ban that just passed the House. Newsflash, we're going to lose everything in the future because we are not organized. We don't have communication. We don't have anything other than watching the screen in front of our face. And that's the reality of it. We are trained at this point to be fat, lazy, and not give a shit. And that's the reality of our new current situation. The gun community still has some badass motherfuckers out there that post videos on YouTube that do a great job. And to all you guys, keep doing what you're doing. Many of you I know on a personal level, we communicate, we DM, and you guys do a great job. And quite frankly, most of them are smaller channels, below 100,000 viewers. And you know why? They're smaller channels is because they don't immediately jump to try to win the algorithms to get up into the big leagues and become just like all the other channels that are out there and any other facet of social media that is literally designed to make us fat and lazy and not give a shit about what's going on and not make you critically think. Congratulations to the bigger YouTube channels who are literally pondering and going into that genre of this nightmare box that we hold in our pocket every single day. I'm finishing up everything now after that rant. I apologize. I don't know where half of that was coming from. It's coming from the heart. It gets frustrating. And it sometimes I just let it fly. Maybe that's why you guys keep coming back to the live streams. I don't know, but I do appreciate it. Hey, Firearm Freedom, Bakersfield, California. I love my weapons. Keep stacking lead, silver, gold, and uranium. 100%. The water coming from your tap adds to the inability to think critically. I completely agree. Completely agree. All right. Oh, yeah, they are very high these days. And keep in mind, guys, depending on how this goes in the news, I'm telling you ahead of time, right? I'm telling you ahead of time that I'll leave you with this. With the assault weapons ban passing through the House, there's a very, very good chance that will spark some panic buying. It may not. A lot of stuff has happened in the past few weeks where I'm like, man, it's going to get insane, and it hasn't gotten insane in the gun shop. There is a very high possibility that if CNN, Fox, all these big news media places pick up assault weapons ban passes the House, that the average everyday person that doesn't really know anything about anything sees that and says, oh my God, that's going to become law, and they don't understand the whole process or anything, so they just say, hey, I'm going to go run out and buy something. So that may happen. Who knows? When it comes down to it, do not listen to me. Don't listen to anyone else on this platform. Don't listen to anybody on the news. Don't listen to any politician. Don't listen to any of these gun rights groups organizing your email section up and all this other shit. What you need to do is get this information, get tidbits of information that you think is interesting, and do research yourself. Try to find the information. Google multiple sales form and look it up. Google when did multiple sales forms start. Google things like that, because what you're going to find is that you're going to see when things is misinformation, when stuff that's coming out is for views, right? We were told a week ago by half the gun tubing community that this is a huge win, that we're never going to experience anything, and lo and behold, wow, here we go, an assault weapons ban that's possibly being ran through. That's the reality of the situation. Steven, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that more than you know. And a lot of the time, this channel, there's a lot of dust and I'm talking quick. This channel gets censored out, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. I would rather go down at 35,000 subscribers, 40,000 subscribers, and never gain another subscriber ever again than to lose the integrity of this channel. That will never happen. That will never happen. So the more that you come here, the more that will never change, and I have a feeling that YouTube does not like that, and the more they're going to censor it, and quite frankly, I don't care. I would rather going down having fun with it, and go down holding my head high, knowing that I said what I wanted to say and what I believe needs to be said, than try to win the algorithms to get big. It's just not going to happen. If I get big, great. If not, I could care less at this point. What will happen to my SBR at my FFL waiting for a tax stamp to be approved? If ban becomes law, will I lose my rifle? So typically, historically speaking, the assault weapons ban in 94 did not affect the NFA items because they're in a different area. I don't know if that's going to be the case with the 2022 situation. God only knows. In California, I think you can only buy one handgun a month. You can buy rifles any day, as I recall. California, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the other states that has the multiple sale form for rifles as well. So be on the lookout for that. Just wanted to say I'm glad I made this. Really appreciate your honesty, man, let alone you're a free thinker and keep it real. Good to know there are many like-minded people in the community. Yes, and there are. There are a lot of like-minded people out here. I have, I think, 36,000 subscribers. That should be 36,000 people that, according to YouTube, should be seeing my content. That's a lot of people, and that's a lot of people that I could potentially speak my mind to, and I think that's a very important task. I cannot stand seeing a channel that has that many people. We're talking millions and millions of people that are following in such a politically driven community that needs so much help and so much organization, and not say a damn thing in regards to the situation that's going on. I get it. They want to run a business, but it's getting frustrating these days. Yeah, buying from different dealers. Be careful of that. That typically throws up a huge red flag to the ATF. So if you buy like a handgun, let's say from one gun shop, you go to another gun shop, like 2 days later you buy another handgun, you go to a gun show, in that same 7-day period you buy another handgun, that throws up a huge red flag for them, and that's a lot of the time when they do the stop buys. It's not right. It's not justified. I'm not saying it is. I'm trying to give you information so that you can kind of have that in the back of your mind. The same applies for rifles in states. I think it's Arizona, California, and a few of the other states over there. But that same rule applies in those states. So be on the lookout for if you're in that state, if you don't want to be dealing with that. The assault weapons ban of 2022 passed the House. Still has to go to the Senate, if I'm not mistaken, and it would have to pass them, and then it would have to go be signed. Don't be misunderstood. This is not becoming law, and that don't follow the groupthink of what the news is going to tell you. They're going to try to tell you that to make it seem like that's going into effect. I'm not saying it's going into effect. I'm just trying to make a point for the gun tubing community as a whole. But that just passed the House tonight. And quite frankly, I don't even know the half of the whole situation when it comes to that and how much more steps it has. There's a lot of people in this comment section watching right now that probably know a hell of a lot more than I do, and I'm not even going to try to act like I know everything about it. I understand the irony of law-abiding gun owner. All these laws, they do not apply to the criminals. All right. Just reading through the last comments here. What's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in from Texas. It's right at the end. This was a heated one, guys. I hope you I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you didn't. Like, give me the feedback either way. And, you know, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys tuning in. My freaking phone's about to die, so I'll let you guys go. If you found this helpful, let me know with that down in the description as well. If you interact with these videos, if you click on the video, if you comment, that typically allows them to show back up in your feed again. I'll say it one more time. If you want to support the channel, currently I'm not sponsored. I have 8 new shirt designs. The link after I get done and edit this live stream, probably about 10-15 minutes, will be down in the description below. You can get shirts like this Thomas Jefferson quote with the awesome G3 there as well. I got other shirts that I truly believe in, and if you want to support it, I do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to let you go now. Stay tuned for more great content coming soon.